In today's episode, the Mark 1 Ford Fiesta for North America. Hello and welcome back to Quartzlight. If you're new to Quartzlight, we're a car brochure channel here on YouTube looking at car brochures like this one from around the world. This particular one is actually from Canada, but it's a North American Ford Fiesta Mark 1. Yes, they tried to sell the Fiesta in North America, which is a bit of a surprise, isn't it? Certainly in Australia, we've been looking at a few brochures for the Australian Fords. Their range, of course, started with the Ford Escort. So a strange one to try and sell this little car in the 70s to North America. I think it was only around for about 3 years, but let's throw it on the board and have a look at this little car. So here we were advertising the Ford Fiesta built in Germany, and then lots of European flags, as these North American brochures like to show when they were more European spec'd vehicles, I guess. I don't know what it was trying to say. High class, I don't know what they were going for with the European flags, but seen as something that may be a little bit exotic, but certainly the Mark 1 Fiesta was far from that. This particular brochure is from November 77. I believe these US models only ran for 3 years, so from model year 78 till 80, so this is a very early brochure. Let's just zoom in a little bit further. So not a great picture actually on the front cover, is it? I don't know why they decided to pick grey of all colours. Nice yellow or something to lift it a bit, but yeah, North American spec. There are better pictures inside, so we're going to quickly move on, but certainly we can see the extra sort of North American lights, reflectors on the sides, and unfortunately for North America, because of the different rules, they put ridiculously large bumpers on, which, as we know, North American rules for these low speed accidents were a bit ridiculous and ruined pretty much every European car that ever came to North America. But anyway, there is actually a nice range for North America in this brochure, so let's turn to the first page. So first thing to note on this brochure, it opens quite unusually. You can see it's quite unusual dimensions as well. So this opens more like a calendar, where it opens up to make something that's actually quite difficult to really show on camera, but we will manage. So the first image is showing all the different spec models for the Fiesta. So there was the very base model, then there was the Decor, the Sport and the Gear, so 4 different spec levels. Let's just turn to the next page. Oh, and I guess you probably noticed already, but one thing to note about the Fiestas in North America, they decided to do round headlights, which is a strange move. I don't know if I really liked it. I think I preferred the lights on the European Fiesta more. This kind of looks more sort of like, I don't know, it reminds me more of like an Opel Kadett, if I just zoom in a bit further. So if I zoom in, we've still got this sort of like squared off design on the bonnet, but then we've got the round headlights. Kind of reminds me like an Opel Kadett. And I guess with the round headlights a bit Golf-like, but yeah, I think I preferred the European spec lights, but nevertheless, let's move on. The next page is all on about the feature that says a masterpiece of European engineering, it says. One is sort of cut out X-ray style images and little arrows pointing to various places. We're not going to go through all that because the brochure will be far too long and most of it's just waffle, to be honest with you. But at the bottom here we get the Fiesta specifications. So unusually we normally look at the specifications at the end of the brochure, so I'm just going to pick a few points out to look at the specifications before we move to the actual spec levels. So the engine on these, just one engine choice actually, a 1.6 throughout the range, so even your base model got a 1.6. So 4 in line water-cooled cast iron block and head, 1.6 litres OHV, 5 main bearings, and kind of don't think this is going to be a fun, fast little car with a 1.6 because it's relatively a light car, and to put a 1.6 in your Mark 1. Sounds really good, doesn't it? And that being the only engine choice, but they were fitted with a catalytic converter, and there were some emission tweaks as well to cope with the higher emission regulations in North America. So I don't think it's actually as good as what it sounds when you compare it to the European models. It's telling us 66 bhp at 5,000 rpm and 82 pound-foot of torque at 3,200 rpm. The transmission is a 4-speed floor-mounted manual shift with overdrive, all synchronised aluminium cased transaxle. So, I wouldn't mind trying one of these back to back with a European version actually, and seeing how they actually compare. So I'll turn the page in this rather unwieldy brochure. I don't know why they decided to do it like that. It does make it difficult. But we get to the base model Fiesta, so not even the L in North American Spec. So I'm going to have to bring this down here so we can read these notes, see what this is all about, and then we'll come back to this actually rather delightful image. So right at the top here it says you've just read about some of the impressive advanced European engineering features that are inherent part of every Fiesta. Now this and the following pages highlight the levels to which Fiesta goes to anticipate your individual preferences for appearance and comfort features. A beautiful value. For import buyers who prefer a car that fills their basic needs in a most complimentary way, the standard Fiesta is a lot of good news. More notable of standard Fiesta features are storage area under load compartment floor, bright aluminium bumpers with black rubber ends and tape stripes, high back front bucket seats, all vinyl upholstery, 3 colours, brushed aluminium appearance, instrument panel applique, open glove box, carpeting on passenger compartment floor, fold down rear seat, black window mouldings all around, black outside rear view mirror, electric rear window defroster, and it says see back cover for a complete listing of standard Fiesta features. It goes on to tell us about some of the Fiesta in general features, I guess. So Fiesta has the control of front wheel drive for superb traction, even on slippery surfaces such as snow or ice. I remember this is actually a brochure from Canada. Fiesta's underfloor storage compartment, 16.9 litres, keeps valuables covered. Efficient 4-passenger design creates exceptional backseat legroom for a car of its size. Fiesta's interior with high back front bucket seats shown in tan, colour AW, which is going to be the pictures in a moment. Also available in black or orange. Control centre. For convenient operation of important driving aids is the steering column mounted triple stalk lever system, 1 lever on the left of the column, not shown, controls horn, turn signals, headlamp flasher and high beam on the right as shown. 1 lever controls 2-speed windshield wipers and flick wipe. Standard windshield washers are foot operated. The other lever controls parking driving lights. It concludes by telling us exciting performance and handling is one reason why Fiesta is such a beautiful value, and tells us the images we're going to look at in a moment are the base model Fiesta 3-door hatchback in beige, code 8, with optional AM radio. Is basically a beautiful value. A single test drive will demonstrate the value of Fiesta's German heritage and its controlled action design. And then we get some of those little images, front wheel drive, room in the back there for various luggage and 4 people. Very unusual little image there, and then we do get a glimpse on the inside, and a reminder these are round headlamps on these North American version. The seats are interesting though. We get these very unusual seats, don't we? This bucket seat style, even on the base model, with a nice incorporated head restraint. Nothing like the very base seats you got in the UK. So this is then the main image of that very base model. No stripes or anything on there, just basic steel wheels as you would expect on a base model. Another look at those North American Spec bumpers, and where we'd normally see sort of bright work around the windows like in Europe, we just got black there instead on the base model. But let's move up a model. So the next Fiesta model up is the Fiesta Decor, or Decor, which is unusual actually, using that name in North America, when of course it would have been the Fiesta L everywhere else. But that Decor brand or name is very much a Ford thing. What comes to mind is the Mark III Ford Cortinas in the sort of around about 73, 74. They used that Decor name, and they had a Decor badge as well for the Mark III Ford Cortina L Decor. Unusual model. I've always searched for a brochure for that one, never been able to find one, but that's an unusual model. But I'm waffling a bit, but unusual that they're using that name here in 1977 in this North American Mark I Ford Fiesta brochure. Anyway, let's see how it describes it, what extra bits you got with it. Ford Fiesta Decor, an unexpected pleasure for import buyers who wish something more than the standard Fiesta provides. The added comfort and convenience of Fiesta with Decor Group option will be of particular interest. It provides a range of features not expected in cars of its kind, beginning with many of the notable features of the standard Fiesta, and adds functional extras and trim that make it even more distinctive, such as intermittent windscreen wipers and electric washers, black rub strips on bumper, package tray behind rear seat, sound insulation package, low back front bucket seats that fully recline, houndstooth cloth and vinyl or all vinyl upholstery, 3 colours, padded door trim panels with large armrests, wood tone applique on instrument panel, glove box door, cigar lighter, bright window mouldings all round, bright outside rear view mirror, black body side tape stripes, black painted rocker panels. See back cover for a complete list, blah 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 blah. It goes on to show us some images. So it starts here with what it describes as wood tone appliques on the one piece instrument panel, add a distinctive touch. So yeah, a little bit of wood on this model, which is certainly a little bit unusual, and sort of a period camera and gloves shown there as well. The other images is showing the sort of parcel tray or package tray at the top there, and also kind of like demonstrating how we can lower that back seat to provide more room. It then shows us this model's seats and how they can recline, but we can notice we got this sort of like separate headrest this time. I quite like those seats, I must admit. The colour obviously is going to be a yellow one, which is describing as code 9. And then this sort of black and white seat colour, which is actually code 1A, if anyone's interested for that seat colour. Also say it's also available in tan and white, orange and white, and in solid colour, all vinyl available as well. So there we go, that interesting little yellow car. It says the Fiesta 3-door hatchback with Decor Group option, like we've seen. In yellow, code 9 has the added comfort and convenience features that will interest you and your family. Let's go for a test drive, etc, etc. But let's look at the main image again. So yeah, I do think it particularly suits it in yellow actually. It certainly brings out this black grille nicely on there. We've got this, what you call an aluminium bumper with this sort of black insert. We've also got the tape stripe, of course, going down the sides, and now sort of like the surrounds around the windows, instead of being black, are now a nice bright finish. So next model up from there is the sports model. We've got a little bit of an S decal at the back there. Probably the model I would probably have been most interested in. Again, a great colour. I like it in orange. I like these very sort of bright colours for these 70s small cars and small Fords. I think they really suit it in there. bit of a bigger tape stripe going down the side, but let's read the notes and see what this actually had to offer. But remember, it's not really more performance because all the engines were the same. So the Ford Fiesta Sport, a sporting proposition for import buyers who demand the look, the responsiveness and the handling of an authentic performance car. The Fiesta with Sport Group option will come as good news, crafted in the time-tested tradition of some of Europe's finest performance sedans. Fiesta with Sport Group option starts with many of the notable features of the standard Fiesta, plus the Decor Group option, and adds some sporty essentials including tachometer and trip odometer, sport suspension system and rear stabilizer bar, extra wide 4.5 inch wheels, caddies, cloth and vinyl or solid colour all vinyl upholstery. I don't know why this option is always there for the vinyl upholstery. I don't see the advantages of that really. Brushed aluminium appearance, instrument panel applique, sporty 4-spoke steering wheel, S body side tape stripes, bright wheel trim rings and bolts. Interesting specs for sure. Let's look at the images. Yep, really suits the orange. For the first image it's talking about the sport suspension, and then we've got the instrument pack there, rev counter, which is nice to see on a Mark 1 Fiesta, isn't it? And this sort of like aluminium style instead of the wood, which certainly looks a bit more sporty, and that all important S badge on the back looks really nice. I would happily have one of these today, I must admit. And then we get these really rather wonderful seats. I just think they look absolutely fantastic in a Mark 1. I really do approve of those. What's it describing this as? It's telling us features that caddies, cloth and vinyl upholstery, shown in orange and black, which is code 1N. Also available in tan and black, grey and black, in solid colour and in all vinyl too. It says the AM radio shown is optional though, but yeah, I do like this package. So yeah, moving back to this very bizarre scene, this Austrian scene, or whatever it's supposed to be, in the snow. But ignoring that randomness, yeah, it's the best looking one, isn't it? With that big side stripe going down the back, and we just about make out the S. Bright work around the windows. Those sorts of beauty rings on the wheels as well. Yeah, nice option. We can go still further though. The car you aspired to own if you was a Ford lover. The gear, yes, the Ford Fiesta gear. Looks like we've got some very interesting alloy wheels. We'll have to have a look if they're standard piece of kit. Certainly that would have been unthinkable in Europe to have alloy wheels thrown on even your gear spec Fiesta or many other larger range of Fords. Actually, there was always a bit stingy to give you any alloy wheels. Australia, there was a little bit more prone to throw alloy wheels on your Fords, but looks like this on a Fiesta. That's very unusual. I'm looking forward to seeing if that is standard. Bumper though, ridiculous, aren't they? I think if I actually bought one of these in Canada, or I ever found one in Canada, and I would certainly be happy to own a nice example, I would quickly remove that bumper and see if I can search for a European spec bumper to try and work on there, because I do not like them at all, and I possibly even think about changing it to the square headlights. I don't know about that though, but yeah, there it is in rather a lovely shade of red. Let's see what this has to offer. The Ford Fiesta gear. Simply luxurious, it tells us. For import buyers who prefer an extra measure of luxury, the richly appointed Fiesta with gear group option will be most welcome news. The added luxury of Fiesta with gear group option begins with many of the notable features of the standard Fiesta. The Decor group option and the Sport group option then, to provide a level of luxury normally not found in small cars, come finishing touches like these. The gear group sound insulation package, carpeted package tray, extra wide 155 SR by 12 BSW, Michelin steel belted radial ply tyres, velour cloth seat upholstery in 2 colours, Ghia door trim panels with large armrests and door storage pockets, wood tone instrument panel applique, loop pile carpeting throughout passenger compartment, roof mounted grab handles, seat back assist straps and map pockets, day night inside rear view mirror and visor vanity mirror, vinyl insert body side mouldings, Ghia emblems and script, third door twist lock. And then it describes this one, the main image, what we just looked at, Fiesta 3-door hatchback with Ghia group option. Shown below in optional dark red metallic clear coat, code free, with optional movable vent windows, rear window wiper and washer, and cast aluminium road wheels. So the alloy wheels are an optional extra, but certainly a nice option to throw on your Fiesta Ghia. I think it really suits it, I must admit. Let's have a look at some of the images and I'll read some of the text that goes with it. So A is showing that twist lock on the rear hatch, and then of course you couldn't have a Ghia without the lovely Ghia badge, could you? The rear parcel shelf is now carpeted. And then the lovely interior, nice sorts of armrests on the doors, lovely velour interior. I think that's the feature that would possibly attract me to this one. I always love a nice velour cloth upholstery in the late 70s, something about that. Apparently the colour is 1W for this colour of interior, also available in black apparently. The main thing though, of course, is talking about movable vent windows, and you know what they are, don't you? Yes, quarter lights, opening quarter lights on your Mark 1 Fiesta. I think I'd have to pick the Ghia, sport model. I'd like some opening quarter windows, that would be great. And there is a better picture, when we look at the main image, there is a better picture of that actually. Other images include the front dash with the all important wood. Apparently there's also optional air conditioning that you can have as well. And then of course mat pockets behind your lovely seats and these grab handles. So yes, dark red metallic looks rather nice on this Mark 1. We got a little bit of a rubbing strip going down the side there, of course. Sadly the alloy wheels are optional, but like I say, it looks good on this Mark 1 Fiesta Ghia, I would say. And like it said, opening vent windows, or as we of course know the correct name for them, quarter lights. So that is the full range of models for the North American Ford Fiesta Mark 1. We can get some nice little options that we can add on there though, so I think we may as well have a look at that as well. So of course you've got radio options, of course, and then moving down, a lady is demonstrating those optional movable front vent windows. It says they permit added air movement when you need it. Of course, quarter lights is what we prefer to call them on the show. It's also showing that we get in C air conditioning as an option. It cools and dehumidifies with live movable vents, 3-speed fan, and an infinite setting temperature control dial to help keep you comfortable any time of the year. Available as a dealer fitted option. Requires heavy duty package, which I would imagine means a larger battery, but interesting, we can get air conditioning throughout the range. Certainly unheard of in the UK, of course. And we can option this sort of glass sunroof, which looks like it's removable, and looks like we get a steel one as well. Both act in the same way and are removable. Tailgate wash wipe, a load area carpet, these body side mouldings or rubbing strips, the alloy wheel option, and it's also here talking about the option to get white sidewall Michelin tyres. And then it finally talks about power front disc brakes, the easy way to stop, and the heavy duty package, which is what we was looking at earlier with that air conditioning. It says required with dealer installed air conditioning, includes heavy duty cooling fan motor, full fan shroud, 55 amp alternator, unique accessory dry pulleys, plus 155 SR by 12 BSW Michelin steel belted radial ply tyres, which I'm not sure what that's got to do with anything. Well, I guess a heavier duty wheel, but unusual mixed in with the air conditioning. And then finally, I'm just going to finish with the date. So Lifford in Canada, yes, this is a Canadian brochure, November 1977. So there we go, this very interesting Mark 1 Ford Fiesta for the Canadian market, or the North American Spec Mark 1 Fiesta if you prefer. Interesting, isn't it? Look at these models in different countries and how their specs differ, but nevertheless I do quite like it. It's kind of like, maybe even those round headlights may have grown on me a little bit throughout the brochure, but certainly not those ridiculous North American Spec bumpers. But still an interesting model to look back on. I'm not surprised it didn't last too long. Like I say, only about 3 years in North America. It was a very small car after all, and still at this time there were some huge American cars, of course, and all about the comfort as well, I guess. But yeah, Volkswagen Golf, that seemed to survive. Fiesta not so much so, and like I say, in Australia they didn't even bother with the Fiesta. Their smallest car was the Escort at the time. Interestingly, different models, but like I said, I'm not surprised it didn't last too long in North America. But thank you so much. I'll try not to waffle. I'm trying to end this program, but if you've got any memories of these Canadian Ford Fiestas, anyone in Canada who's still got one, drop me a line. Very interesting to hear how you're getting on with it. Thank you so much. We'll end as we always do by saying, please do consider subscribing if you've not already done so. It's completely free to do that. Keeps you in touch with the channel, and click that little bell. We'll always be notified about new episodes. You can also now become a member for a very small fee each week. I think there's 3 different levels, but they all offer the same thing. You get a couple of minutes extra video, and you'll probably get videos a little bit earlier than everyone else. But thank you so much. That's really there to help the channel continue really well. We've only got very low viewing numbers. Obviously it's a very nerdy channel, so it appeals only to some, but thank you so much for everyone who's watched this video so far. Very much appreciated. We'll see you very soon. All the best and goodbye.